Today I'm going to continue with the purpose of surrender, part 2. That's the third message in the teachings of Inner Ramana. What we have seen so far is that the mind is like a filter that creates illusion. And we've also seen that fear and suffering come from believing the illusion, from believing that the world is real and that we are these body-mind personalities. What we have also learned is that in order to let go of the illusion and remember truth, we need to let go of trusting the mind as being right, as presenting truth. We basically need to let go of believing the thoughts of the mind. Now, for many of us, that seems to create a problem because we do seem to live in a world and there are a lot of decisions that need to be made in our lives. How do we make decisions without the thinking mind? Surrender is the answer. So the real purpose of surrender is to guide us so that we can continue to move about in the world and do what seems to need to be done, while also enabling us to let go of the thinking that keeps us believing that the world is real and we are these body-mind personalities. If you look on page 10 in the teachings of Inner Ramana, at the second paragraph, it says, one who is awakening to truth. Again, that would mean one who is remembering the truth of who we are. One who is awakening to truth is also discarding the world, which includes discarding his thoughts about the world. So this one is learning to take all of his cues from within, from beyond the clouds of his thoughts. Before, I called this intuition. Some people may call it a gut feeling. Some people may call it a knowing. But when there's something that needs to be done, it's a matter of asking within, what am I to do now? How am I to see this? How is this to be done? Feeling for an answer without thinking, and then just trusting and following what we feel. This allows us to be guided by what you could call the universe, what you could call God, what you could call the divine or the inner guru. But it allows us to be guided and to be moved without using the thinking that keeps us attached to believing that this world is real. It's really our release from fear and our release from suffering, because through surrender we let go of the tool that creates illusion, which is the thinking mind. We let go of the tool that creates illusion, and that frees us to begin to realize truth. The truth that we are eternal being and we cannot be harmed by anything in this world. That's liberation or freedom, realizing self. At the bottom of page 10, Inner Ramana says, one who listens to guidance may be said by others to be awakened, but this one will only say he is realized because he realizes truth even as he experiences perception. He listens to knowledge because he knows that one who sees perception cannot truly see, but one who is not attached can be guided. Non-attachment and realization are one. Seeing truth is to be awakened. So what Inner Ramana is telling us is until all we know is self, all we know is God, until we have that knowing, we are still in a perceiving world. If I perceive an other, for example, if I perceive you as someone different from me, I am still in a perceiving world. But even while I am in a perceiving world, I can reach a state of mind where I realize this is not truth. This inner realization allows me to become detached from what is happening so that I'm not worried about it, I'm not afraid about it. And it also allows me to check within for guidance to find out what I am to do. This state of mind that is being called realize is kind of like a bridge. We have first the state of mind where we believe that the world is completely real. Then we have the state of mind we're beginning to realize that it isn't, and so we are detaching from the world and checking within for guidance and learning to listen to within much more than the thinking mind. And then that leads to the third state of mind, which is awakened or knowing only self, being completely aware of truth and no longer believing in illusion at all. So surrender is this bridge that takes us from the point of belief in the world to the point of knowing only truth. Inner Ramana continues on page 11. World-focused thought is always an error. It is attachment. Therefore, it is dreaming or remaining deluded. One of the things we want to start to watch our mind for is, when am I thinking about the world? When am I sitting around worrying about the world situation or worrying about what's happening in my life? When am I looking at all the things that could go wrong or all the ways they could be fixed? He calls that an error. And the reason he calls that an error is because when I'm involved in that type of mind activity, I'm being very attached to the world, which means I think that the game is reality. And this is going to lead to fear, frustration, stress, anger, hatred, all of the types of suffering. I want to detach from the world, detach from what's going on in my own life, even though I will continue to act. Surrender is the answer. If I'm not thinking, if I'm just asking, what am I to do now? How am I to see this? How am I to think? I'm receiving an internal prompt, an internal knowing, and I just do that. I'm able to continue acting without thinking. This is the detachment process, and surrender is a perfect tool. It's why it's a perfect bridge from believing in the world to being awakened. Inner Ramana continues, to help people with world-focused thoughts by providing world-focused solutions is assisting one to dream. Therefore, the awakened one, or we could say the inner guru, who has accepted the role of continuing the awakening, will not assist in world-focused concerns by providing world-focused answers. The awakened one will assist world focus by observing the filter with the one who has a desire to awaken. What that paragraph means is, when you ask within, what am I to do now? You may very well receive a prompt. That prompt comes from what we could call the script or from what we could call karma. It is what you are to do now. But within you, there is also another way of seeing, which is really going to be helping you more to look at your reactions to things than it's going to be concerned about what you are to do. So for example, you may receive a prompt that says, mail this letter. If for some reason mailing that letter scares you, there's also another way of seeing within you called the awakened one, which is going to help you look at and notice your fear as you mail the letter. So we really receive two types of inner guidance. Guidance that comes from the script or karma that guides us in what to do, and guidance that comes from the awakened one, which is going to help you observe yourself, observe your own attachments, become aware of them, and release them. We'll be talking a lot more about this inner type of guidance that comes from the awakened one as we go through the teachings of Inner Ramana. That's enough for today. Thank you.